So for our third Snapdragon video of the day, we are now going to be looking at the new Samsung Galaxy Book 4 Edge Snapdragon. Now this is available in a 14-inch and a 16-inch model. We've chosen the 14-inch. We think this is kind of the perfect size for these Snapdragon chips because you kind of want them in a ultra portable laptop. So this comes with the Elite chip. It comes with 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it also comes with 512 gigabytes of SSDs. Now this starts at £13.99 in the UK, and the 16-inch version is an extra £100 at £14.99. You can also choose a 1 terabyte option, and on the 16-inch you can have a slightly more powerful Elite with the 84-100 instead of the 80-100 CPU. So let's have a look at the 14-inch version. So in the box, we've got a nice slim USB-C power supply. Now I've got the UK plug, so it folds down nicely because we have the bulky plugs over here, which is a real shame. We've got the laptop itself, which we put one side. A USB-C to USB-C cable to charge it. It's quite a decent length cable. And we have, let's have a look in here. Wow, really gone to town here. A package contents and safety information guide. That is it. So very bare bones. For a £1,400 laptop. Right, let's open it up and take a look. So this comes in a sapphire blue colour. It is it's more of a silver blue, definitely a lot lighter than the blue Surface Pro 11 we just looked at. It does look nice and reflects the light very well. Okay, let's have a quick look at the ports whilst we're here. On the right side, we've got a headset jack and an HDMI port. And on the left side, we've got two USB-C ports. Now these are two USB 4 USB-C ports, which is handy, and the HDMI is an HDMI 2.1, so that is quite useful. But I would have still liked a legacy USB-A port still. I don't know why, but I still really like that port, especially for things like mice dongles and other bits and pieces. Now opening it up, got a screen protector there to keep you safe, and it does look really premium. An all aluminium chassis, just like the Surface laptop. It feels very rigid, but it is incredibly light. Picking that up, that really is light. We have the glossy AMOLED panel, so I'm looking forward to seeing that one. We've got a good sized trackpad. Feels quite responsive, but it is an old fashioned springboard style, which is a shame. Unlike the Surface laptop, you've got no clicking at the top. Keyboard feels pretty good, and we have a power button fingerprint reader. Now I'm going to just quickly set up Windows, so just give me 2 split seconds and we'll be back. Right, so we're back, we've set up Windows, we've gone through the usual Windows update and firmware updates for the laptop, so we're now up and running. We spent a good couple of hours testing out this Elite chip. Now first things first, the AMOLED screen, it is beautiful. Now we've got a 16:10 panel with this Book 4 Edge laptop, and it's running at a resolution of 2880 by 1800, and it's 120 Hz. Now that's also got the dynamic refresh, and it can go anywhere from 48 to 120, depending on what you're using, to save you a bit of actual battery. Now the screen feels nice and bright, and it looks slightly more saturated than the actual OLED Surface Pro 11 2-in-1 device that we've just tested, so it does look very nice. But one thing I do notice is we see a little bit of flicker on this panel, which we're not seeing on the Surface Pro 11, but it's still pretty good to my eyes. It's only picked up on the actual camera here. It also feels nice and bright, but it is very reflective, as most of these glossy screens are. But just in case you want it, it is actually a touch screen as well. I don't particularly like touch screens, but it's there if you want to use it. Now sadly, there is no Windows Hello facial recognition on this model. We just get a standard webcam above. It looks and sounds like this. This is a test of the webcam and the microphones on the new Galaxy Book 4 Edge. Now again, this is a Snapdragon with AI, so we're going to have a quick look at some of the features, such as the automatic framing. So let's just see how well this works. Move it out of frame. Not working well at all. Oh, there we go, picking me up finally. Okay, doesn't feel great. Nope, not overly impressed with that. I'm going to quickly look at eye contact. So I'm going to look, helps you appear to be looking directly at the camera. Let's look away and turn this on. Now hopefully this will be changing my eyes. We'll just play the back in a second. Now turn it off. Oh, turn it off. Now look back at the screen. to see if that works. And then finally we've got background effects, so that's working fine. We've got the standard blur, which blurs out my background, or the portrait blur, which is a slightly lesser blur. They're very good. This is very good if you're in a messy environment, you want to hide that from people on a conference call. So there we go, that's the webcam on the Galaxy Book 4 Edge. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But we do get a fingerprint reader with this model. So the power button doubles as a fingerprint reader. So as I just press my finger down on the power button, it does log you in. It's very quick and it's very accurate. So I don't think the fact that we haven't got that facial recognition is going to bother most people. Now the keyboard itself, the typing experience, it's pretty good. It feels very much like a MacBook. Personal opinion, I do prefer the Surface laptop keyboard, but this is a close second. It's got a very slightly noisier, sort of rattly sound than the Surface laptop has, but the Surface laptop is, I would say, a top tier laptop keyboard. And the touchpad, as I mentioned earlier on, is like your normal springboard mechanism. It tracks okay, pretty good. 2-finger gestures work fine, and the other gestures seem to work pretty well. But again, I do prefer the haptic feedback on the Surface laptop. But compared to many other Windows laptops, this is still a very good trackpad. Now, as you can see, like the Surface laptop, there's no speaker grills on the top, but we do have what looks like speaker grills firing out both sides underneath. So let's just quickly test the speakers out. So here we are, internal speakers at 50% volume. And then we're going to try again at 80% volume. So there we go, they're actually not bad speakers at all. So they're certainly not as good as a MacBook Pro 16 speakers, but for a 14-inch laptop, and particularly a Windows laptop, these are actually pretty good. You'll be fine listening to podcasts and some light music on this laptop. Okay then, so let's have a quick look at performance. Now we've looked at obviously a few Snapdragon laptops today, and this one is doing really well in that short-term boost. So in a benchmark such as Geekbench 6, we tested it in both optimized and in its high performance mode, and both were very, very similar. So for short-term boosts, you might as well just leave it in optimized, and we've got an incredible single-core score of 2,736. Now that is very impressive. Now the multi-core score came in at 14,275, which is also a very good score. Now as you can see here, between that and the high performance mode, there's literally just a margin of error between them. When we move to the graphics scores, we've got 20,636, which is about what we've seen on other Snapdragon devices. So it does seem to be very standard with these actual Elite CPUs. And it seems to be fine for some benchmarks, certainly better than Iris graphics, but I was hoping for slightly better. But we're going to test this thoroughly in the next few days for gaming and 3D applications, just to see how far we can push them. Now, when we looked at a longer Cinebench R23 10-minute torture test of this CPU, and this is running in x86, so emulated, it didn't score quite so well. Now, we have the Elite model here, and it started off very nicely at 2.9 gigahertz, which is pretty much what we'd expect. But sadly, after about a minute or so, it did start dropping down and finished at about 1.9 gigahertz, which suggests it's either power or temperature throttling. And we ended up with a score of 7,192, which isn't the best score we've seen so far out of these Snapdragon Elite chips. Now, I'm hoping, because this is the first day they've been launched, that there will be a firmware from Samsung that's going to help boost that score, because that doesn't seem quite right to me. But again, this is the first day it's been released. Now, we will be heavily testing the CPU and the GPU on these laptops over the next few days. So if we do get an updated firmware, we'll make sure to use that, and we will update you in either the full review or the forthcoming videos. Now, talking about fan noise on this device, very impressive so far. In day-to-day light and moderate use, absolutely no fan noise, which is what we really wanted from these Snapdragon PCs. So if you've got this and you're buying it because you don't want a loud laptop, these Snapdragons could well be the way to go. Now, when we ran Geekbench 6, after a little while, we did hear the fan ramp up a little bit, and obviously the Cinebench R23, which is a torch test, the fans did come on, but they were never obnoxiously loud. They just hummed along nicely in the background. We will record it properly in the full review so that you can hear it. Also, the laptop never got overly hot. We got a little bit of a warm temperature spot in the middle where it was fully utilizing the CPU or GPU, but nothing that's going to bother you, even resting your hand on it. So far these Snapdragons seem to be a good choice for temperatures and heat and fan noise. Now the only thing we haven't had a chance to test yet, or test thoroughly, is the battery life, as we've only received it today. Now we are going to be heavily utilizing this on battery, so in the full review there'll be full battery tests, and obviously performance on battery will be tested as well. So make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, because that will be coming soon. So there we go. Those are our first thoughts and impressions on this Snapdragon Galaxy Book 4 with its Elite chip. And I have to be honest, this is a lovely little package. If you're looking for a light laptop with a beautiful screen, good speakers, good keyboard and trackpad, this could very well be a winner. Now we are going to do a lot more testing on these Snapdragon chips, but so far my initial impression is they are very, very good. And having avoided Snapdragons in the past because of the implementation of the ARM chips, I think finally we could be at a point where Snapdragons, at least for laptops, could well dominate the Intel scene. Well, that's my first thoughts on the Galaxy Book 4 Edge. Very impressive so far, but as always, I'd love to know what you guys think. Put your comments in the section down below and I will get back to you. And as always, thanks for watching.